So nearby Brad, and I guess audience at home, what's your favourite, like, circa 2000s American Pie rip-off teen sex romp comedy?
I always liked Sex Drive, but it's because
Is that the same as Road Trip?
They're all the same.
What I'm saying is there's Road Trip, there's Sex Drive, and there's Euro Trip. Am I making one of those up? Anyway, let's talk about American Pie, the originator, specifically Stifler's mom. The American Pie series loosely centres around a group of guys on a quest to lay as much pipe as possible. While many of the principal actors saw great success following the film, only one we're aware of managed to parlay it into getting mad laid. Stifler's mom. And I'm saying mom here because she's called Stifler's mom in the show. I'm British, I'd say mum. But because we're talking, like, it's American Pie, we'll say mom. And I know there are people out there who get annoyed at me for doing this. I never told you the story about the guy who sent me a DM like every couple of months for a few years, asking to fight me because I said ass instead of arse in a few videos. And they were like, well, you just remind me. I think specifically they were annoyed because it sounded like a kid who'd been on holiday to America and was like trying to sound cool. Instead of it just being, well, I consume so much American content, I write in the American voice. I had at the time an American girlfriend. It's just my voice, my words for things got jumbled up.
We also have a majority American audience, so it makes more sense to use language that's going to be more familiar to them.
But they were so annoyed at me occasionally saying ass instead of arse that they wanted to fight me. I'm just glad they're not bothering me about this anymore. No, Nisha! Hi. Yeah, it's recording, yeah. What's your favourite teen sex romp comedy?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Don't be put on the spot. Don't do this to me.
For anyone who's unfamiliar with the American Pie series, the first film in the series has a pretty basic plot that has been ripped off countless times throughout the 2000s and early 2010s. And that plot is just a group of high school teenagers played by 30-year-olds make a pact to get laid.
A pact. No money involved, more important than any bet. Here's the deal. We all get laid before we graduate.
Who do you think's the one who looks the oldest? It's Ostriker, isn't it?
What, sorry?
Who looks the oldest in American Pie?
Which one's he?
I said Ostriker. He's the one who's...
Oh, the football player. Yeah, he does, yeah. And the youngest one is obviously Jason Biggs. Like, Jason Biggs just looks like a teenager and has done for years. And I think
still looks the same now.
He pretty much does, yeah. And I was doing my yearly rewatch of Frasier the other day, and he turns up in one of the episodes. And he's like, hey, it's Jason Biggs, good for you.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Oh, I've assisted in many deliveries, ma'am. In fact, one just took blue ribbon at the Kansas State Fair.
The only other thing I saw him in, aside from American Pie, was My Best Friend's Girl, which is the one that has Dane Cook in it.
Oh, God, I'm glad, do you know what? I'm glad that he's no longer a thing. Because there was that period in and it was partly started by American Pie, where gross out sex comedies were a thing, and so many of them were so bad, both in terms of their quality and what they contained. Because the American Pie series, a few bits haven't aged well, such as filming someone in surreptitiously through a webcam and then broadcasting it to the internet.
Or hiding in a cupboard while there's people getting naked in the room next to you.
Mm-hmm. And just there's a whole manner of things that aren't great about that series. But for the most part, especially American Reunion, I feel kind of sticks the landing and kind of makes up for some of those missteps by acknowledging that the characters were horny, dumb teenagers.
The one thing I don't like about American Reunion is because of the life that Stifler led, it means that American Pie 4, Bandcamp, isn't canon.
No, you shut up.
It's not canon.
You shut up. And the American Pie...
I like Bandcamp. Bandcamp's the best one.
But the American Pie series, one of the reasons it kind of stands above those lesser imitations, those pretenders to the teen sex comedy throne, is because they actually made a couple sequels, and those sequels they kind of evolve what the characters go through, and it ends with what I think is probably one of the best send-offs to a series. Just overall, it has every character, every minor character comes back, and they have their little bit. It's everyone gets their little bit. It reminds me a little bit like Parks and Rec, where every single person you give a shit about gets their cameo, gets their moment. And the endings for all of them seem satisfying, and they have arcs that feel complete. And then you just got Euro Trip and Road Trip and Sex Drive, whatever the fuck. Do you want to go look up now? I'm going to look up teen sex comedies. Actually, no. Let's look. No, 2000s gross out comedies. I don't want that on my thing. So 2000s gross out comedies ripping off American Pie, and we're just going to go through a list of those, and we're going to see if we can find it.
Let me guess, you've got a list from some shitty website like top 10 movies that copied American Pie.
Well, here we go. Here's like 27 sex comedies guaranteed to make you laugh, and this is Men's Health magazine. For some reason.
All places.
Let's go through a couple of them, and we'll like Euro Trip, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, which I guess is like kind of similar, but like it's the sex gross out comedy. American Pie 1 and 2, obviously. There was Girls Trip, which was 2017, and apparently tried to cash in on it. No. There's like Superbad.
Oh yeah.
McLovin!
It might be the only one that's managed to like kind of approach the the cultural touchstone status of American Pie.
That's the only bit I remember of it though, is McLovin. Like I can't remember anything else that happens in that movie.
Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
I like the Holland and Kumar series. It's not great, but I do like it.
Girl Next Door. Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
Oh.
That's the fact that you remember it says it all. Bridesmaids.
You know, I quite like that.
I like I think Bridesmaids is a pretty good series. Easy A, which I also love because that was in that era where they remade like Shakespeare plays and old classic bits of literature as teen sex comedies. So Easy A, I think, is the Scarlet Letter. Mm-hmm. Knocked Up, the movie that ruined Katherine Heigl's career and started Seth Rogen's. Wet Hot American Summer.
Never saw that.
And then finally, the one that I think wins them all, Not Another Teen Movie. The absolute,
of course, yeah.
Arguably one of the greatest spoof movies ever made. I hold it up there, it's up there with Airplane and Police Squad and the Naked Gun series. And what makes it funnier is that no one got it. No one got it, so it got really bad reviews because it's like, well, it's just a gross out comedy. It's like, yeah, it's making fun of them. But it also makes fun of the originator of this type of movie, the 80s movies where you had stuff like Animal House, which are even worse. So you look at American Pie and it's pretenders, and like they're bad. But then you have stuff like, what is it, Revenge of the Geeks, where it's the one where it's like literal fucking rape is played as like a good thing. Because the nerd managed to like, he gives the hot cheerleader oral sex while pretending to be her boyfriend. And she's like, wow, that's great. Instead of, this is horrifying. And he's the hero.
Should we talk about Stifler's mom?
Let's talk about Stifler's mom. So, a recurring character in the series is Stifler's mom. And Brad, describe Stifler's mom.
Well, Karl, Stifler's mum is, as they say in the series, the ultimate MILF.
Yes, and this series actually helped popularise the term MILF, which stands for, Nisha? Just the fact you look so unimpressed.
Mums I'd like to fuck.
Yes.
I cannot believe a fine woman like this produced a guy like Stiffler. Dude! I took some MILF.
And spawned other phrases such as GILF or DILF.
Yeah. And that's the thing I've really appreciated, though, like the way language has evolved over the years. And some like a breakdown I saw, I think it was like, it might have been Cosmo or Vogue or something. I read it in. Yeah, I read those magazines. Why not? I want to drive my man wild. And they're talking about how women have managed to recapture some of the language from that early era, like the MILF. You now have the term of like the DILF or like, dad bod and stuff like that, of like women being able to describe older men as being attractive. In a way that's like, they're owning it rather than them being like, like they are being preyed upon by older men, like older lecherous men. It's like, no, it's like we're able to now acknowledge that older men are handsome in a way where we're owning our sexuality rather than our sexuality being the prize won by the man. And like, obviously, we're talking about like, daddies. Like that's the term, it's like the daddy, like was it the Pedro Pascal one? Of like that, it's like Jim's dad. Like, Jim's dad is such a dad. He's so good.
Mr. Levenstein.
And that's the thing as well. Like, can we spoil the ending of, like, American Pie, where Stifler's mom gets with Jim's dad?
That's in the reunion, isn't it, that one? Yeah.
And it's so good. He's like, hey, I'm Stifler's mom. He's like, I'm Jim's dad.
He ends up falling out the window because he thinks the police are after him.
Yeah, he thinks he's high, doesn't he?
Oh, God. In the first one, when he has to give his son the speech on fucking the pie... When a young man...
Well, that's the thing. I said there's some problematic elements to this series, but like Jim's dad has been held up as like a really great example of like positive masculinity because, it's a very trying time in a young man's life. He's burgeoning into a sexual being, and his dad like is awkward, but it's portrayed very realistically. Of like he's stumbling over his words. He doesn't know quite how to acknowledge his son as like a peer rather than as like a son, but He's trying, and he's non-judgmental as well. That's the thing. He's non-judgmental, positive, fatherly role model.
And then you get the sequels where Mr. Levenstein returns
He's a legend.
as a legendary sex god who started naked races.
I love that though, yeah. Because do you know why he appeared in all those sequels?
Was it a contract thing?
It was, yeah. When he signed the contract for American Pie 1, like, he didn't want to do it. And he said, I'm only going to do it if you give me a guaranteed place in all the sequels. Because he thought, if they do make a sequel, I'll make a couple $1 million off it, not realising he'd have to appear in every one of the shitty knockoff direct-to-video sequels.
Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen American Pie, The Book of Love, the idea in that is that there is a secret book that is passed down by men in like a college.
That teaches you how to pleasure a woman,
and the book was started by Jim's dad.
He was started by Jim's dad, yeah. He becomes this like mythical figure, doesn't he? He becomes almost more important than Stifler.
My favourite bit in the reunion, though, is when they're trying to make him that dating profile. And he's trying to get him to wear, like, a good outfit, and he has all the same shirts.
And he comes out, where they pluck his eyebrows, and he goes, these caterpillars are kind of my brand here, boys. And they pluck, like, all the hair out, and his eyebrows look exactly the same. And there's a great interview with Eugene Levy where he talks about that, of like, oh, man, I had to help him with the script a little bit, because initially my character came across as so creepy and lecherous. In the script, he was supposed to, like, perv on all the teenage girls. Who were like, came like, oh, so you're getting hot and heavy with a young lady, are you now, Jim? And he's like, I don't like that because, I want it to be more positive because I think it'd be funnier if his dad tries to actually help him but doesn't know how. And that decision was, of course, the right one. Because he's the most memorable character in the series and he's in it for like 10 minutes alongside Stifler's mom.
Yeah, Stifler's mum is the opposite of the coin, really. She's not like the awkward, bumbling parent. She's the sexual,
the goddess.
What's the one I'm looking for? Experience. That's the one.
Well, that's one of the things, yeah, because throughout the series, like Jim's dad becoming this like mythical, like sex god beast, Stifler's mom is held up as like the pinnacle of womanhood, of like this unattainable goddess with whom any man would be lucky to lay. And they, to the point where one of the main characters of the series has sex with her once and spends the rest of his life lamenting the fact he will never again have a sexual experience as satisfying as that one.
Yeah, but also his reputation ends up coasting on this one encounter that he's had.
Yep.
And it's because it's Stifler's mom.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And what makes it good as well is because Jennifer Coolidge, it couldn't be anyone else but Jennifer Coolidge. Because I have said when I get really rich or I get a house, I'm going to get 2 paintings made. And I'm going to hang them in my house. And one is the self-portrait of Stifler's mom. Do you know the one that she has in her house that they have in the movie? It's like, I can't believe that's Stifler's mom,
Is
dude.
that the one that the MILF guys lick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want that one, and I want the one of Terry Crews in White Chicks doing like the basketball. I want those 2 paintings just in my house.
In the comments, people suggest, because there's loads of those films that have those paintings,
Yes, there is,
suggest more. Carl can have a gallery in his house of all of these paintings.
The other one I want is the one of Sonic and the President shaking hands. There's that one. Because that's just so dumb. Oh. I don't know why that one cracks me up. Looks like you're so dumb. But bring it back to Jennifer Coolidge. Like, she owned that role. She owned that role hard. So hard, in fact, that she became synonymous with the term MILF. There's 2 ways where you could react to this as an actress. You could be annoyed at being typecast. So imagine how many times she walks down the street and has people scream, MILF, MILF, MILF at her. Like, so there's 1 or 2 ways. You can either find it flattering, or you can find it frustrating. Jennifer Coolidge went a different way, and she's like, well, I'm going to own it. And Jennifer Coolidge, the legend that she is, like, there's an amazing Variety interview with her where she's talking about this. It's like, so you play Stifler's mom? It's like, yeah, I did. That was me. And like, so a lot of like young men must have like paid you a lot of attention after that. It's like, yeah, they did. It's like, so what happens? Like, well, before the movie, I'd go to the bar, and none of the guys really wanted to pay any attention, especially the young, hot guys that I was into. And, they wanted nothing to do with me, like, because she acknowledged, like, her voice is kind of, like, annoying, is the term she uses. She often plays that character. Like, she thinks she's in Friends, isn't she, as, like, Monica's annoying friend.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I feel like a perfect arse. In America, you're just an ass.
Which, she had a quite varied career, but specifically appearing in Stifler's mum in American Pie is the first time where she was like overtly like sexual. Like she was like, she was portrayed as being hot. And she just says, yeah, after that, like these guys who'd like pay no attention to me were falling over themselves to buy me a drink. And they're like, so, do you ever take advantage of that? Like, all these young hot guys throwing themselves at you, saying, yeah. And like they say, really? Say, yeah, there's about 200 guys I want to select with who want for that movie. And just looks at the camera and everyone and just smiles the smile of a woman had a good time.
I love how that film basically turned her into the legend that the film said she was.
Exactly, yeah, and that's why it's so good. So Stifler's mom helped Stifler's mom get laid. And there's an interesting parallel to this because the guy who played Stifler, Sean William Scott, the character he plays in those movies, he's like very confident, very brash, very out there, very obnoxious. And like Sean William Scott was exactly the opposite. He had like major anxiety, and he'd never like had a girlfriend prior to being in American Pie.
You wouldn't know it, like
you wouldn't know, given like the role that he plays in that film. Yeah.
You guys are pathetic. I'm gonna find myself a little hottie. Stop me, beautiful.
He definitely got a bit typecast as like the cocky jock character after that.
He did.
Because everything else I've seen him in, he's always playing that archetype of character. Not to that extreme, but yeah.
He's got really good range though, I feel. I always like Sean William Scott. He's like one of those actors who never really got his due. Because he's really good in The Goon. Like, he's really good in that, where he plays like the failed enforcer for like a hockey team.
And he was ahead of everyone in Final Destination.
And he's also in Ice Age. I think he's one of the possums in that, alongside. Yeah, he's one of those. I think he's a good actor. And so is Jennifer Coolidge, and I'm glad that Jennifer Coolidge got hers. And just that thing of, I love that idea of like, the MILF thing started, and now we've got the DILF and the daddy thing coming on now, thanks to Pedro Pascal. And have you seen that great interview with him where they talk to him? It's like, some people online call you daddy, and he's like, yeah, they do. He loves it.
So what are you? Are you the daddy of the internet? What's internet daddy?
Me?
Yeah, you are.
It was an amazing interview for the Graham Norton show where he's with, I forget the actress's name, but like they bring that up to him. He's like, yeah, people online call me daddy. I'm getting older now. It's a nice thing to hear. And I say, well, we've got 2 daddies in this studio right now. I'm like, what? I say, well, all right, like, one of the people on the couch, they've got a very famous daddy who plays a daddy, and they're like, and the woman goes like this and goes, and he's actually in the audience right now, and it's the guy who does the voice of Daddy Pig.
You just talk like Daddy Pig the whole time.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But with less cake.
Yeah.
That's a real daddy.
Yes, but now.
So we've now got an announcement, haven't we, guys?
Yes.
So a few weeks ago, we launched a new piece of merch, the Sage of Secrets, which I'm wearing now.
Oh, the reveal.
Well, it's because it's cold in here, but this is the Sage of Secrets. This is a redesign of our logo, the Fact Fiend, by Baby Senpai, an artist who I've admired the work of for many years now. Like, there's a couple of my t-shirts that I've worn in videos and streams and just general life, because they kick all kinds of ass. And they redesigned our logo as an anime character, which we've decided to call the Sage of Secrets. So we had the Fact Fiend, the Knowledge Demon, the Keeper of the Forbidden Knowledge, and now the Sage of Secrets, so sticking within a theme. And we're happy to announce that we're going to extend the amount of time people can pre-order the shirt for, and also the addition of a little competition we're going to do. So while we were going through all the merch that we have, like specifically like this new merch launch, we realised we have a spare like prototype shirt that is now like not really reflective of the final design, but we have it, and it's just there.
Yeah.
And it's just in my house, and none of us, we all have our own versions of the merch. We're like, well, why don't we give that away? And let's make it a little competition. So anyone out there, if you pre-order the Sage of Secrets shirt and you send proof through to our socials, and we're on
Instagram, Twitter, or X.
We're not calling it X. Instagram or Twitter. If you send proof of purchase to the Fact Fiend Instagram or Twitter accounts within the next couple of weeks, we're going to leave it like 2 weeks after the pre-orders close, so people can get their time in. This includes if you've already ordered it in the previous pre-order group. Just send through proof of purchase to us. We'll enter you into a draw. We'll make a little like silly video for the socials about like drawing a name out of a hat or something, and we'll send you just the prototype signed by the team.
Yeah, it's essentially, well, it is one of a kind. It's the only one that's going to be like that because the design was slightly updated.
Yes, it's before we updated the design slightly.
It's essentially a misprint.
Yes, but misprint means it's rare. Don't say misprint, say one of a kind. It's exclusive,
You
yes.
say misprints on stamps, don't you? Like if a stamp collector's like, a misprint stamp is worth more because it's rare.
Well, I guess it is worth more because we're going to sign it. Imagine if it was worth less.
We're going to send you the one that's ripped.
Yeah, so there you go. If you send proof of purchase through to the one of the Factory socials, enter your name into a draw to win the prototype T-shirt. And a thing we've now in the process of finalising is the extra little bonus thing we're going to send people, right, Nisha? Which is?
Yeah, so putting together like a little poster design,
yes.
Which you could use for like phone backgrounds, maybe desktop backgrounds, just stuff like, or you can print it off like yourself at home.
Yeah.
So it's just the design on the T-shirt and then like a little collaboration of logos.
Just a little card. So because people always ask, can I like the original artwork, can I use it for something? And whenever people ask that, I always know what they're asking is, can I go put it on a shirt and not pay you? Because I actually got a message from someone saying that. I respect the balls to do it off, but I like the design. Can I print it off on something else? And my response is, well, I can't stop you. I'd rather you didn't, and if you do, don't fucking tell me about it. It's like that thing, isn't it? Of like, they feel the need as if I'm going to say yes. It's like the similar thing, like the ad block thing kicking off now. Of like, we've never, throughout the history of the channel's existence, ever begrudged people using ad block. The thing we always say is, just don't tell us that you're using it, because that means your view is literally worthless to us. And that's not us being mean, it literally is analytics-wise. Like, the view does not count towards our like monthly count where we get like a CPM like thing at the end of the month to get money.
I mean, arguably, it might even make it worse because it's a view that comes up without the ads registering with it, which means the channel's worth less.
I believe in the background, because YouTube's very like opaque about this, I believe it just doesn't count at all. And one of the funniest interactions I had with someone is when they said that. I went, well, it doesn't get us any money. We don't make any money if you watch it with ad block. I went, well, surely you get paid because I watched it, right? It's like, no. Because the reason we get paid per like, the amount of people watch is because YouTube is selling that data to advertisers of like, if 10,000 people watched a video, 10,000 eyeballs were on this ad, we can send you that money. If half of those people use ad block, that's only 5,000 people, so we get half as much money. And just they couldn't get it through their head that, but I watched the video. It's like, but you didn't watch an ad, right? You specifically blocked all the ads. Well, yeah, so we didn't make any money from that. It's like, but I watched the video, and it's like,
it's the ads that help me.
And that's like, I get it. Ads are annoying. I don't like ads. Just don't tell me about it. And that's the thing. Because I guarantee you in the comments of this video, someone's going to be saying, well, no, ads are annoying. It's like, just don't tell me.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing with like pirating content. It's the same discussion of like, we understand people do it and people might have a reason why they think it's justified, but don't tell a content creator that that's what you're doing.
Yeah, it's an argument I have had. It's not even an argument for me. It's more just I don't want to talk about it because I'm a content creator. And the rules that, for better or worse, that govern, the rights to access content protect both me and Disney. That's just the way it is. So you have to have that very just like black and white approach to it because that's the way the law is enforced. So when people are like, well, I only feel I pirate stuff that's not available for viewing in my country. That's fine. Just don't tell me. I don't care. That's just don't justify. And it feels like they have to. Well, I want you to say it's okay. So I'm not going to say it's okay. I'm going to say I understand why you're doing it, but I'm not going to agree with it because it's the same kind of thinking that results in people blocking my content. And it's a slippery slope and there's a sliding scale of like people make their own justifications for what they feel entitled to take for free or not pay for or view ads upon. And yeah.
Are you aware that every Fat Fiend video has been downloaded and re-uploaded to Wayback Machine, like the archive?
Well, that's fine, because that's Wayback Machine.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure like the entire archive of every video we've done is just on there.
Well, that's because that's like a non-profit website that archives internet. And that's one of the things, like, and then people bring up piracy, and they'll say, well, it's for archiving reasons. It's like, okay, so you're storing it on a hard drive in like, a place that's protects against the elements, right? And it's like, well, no, I'm just putting it on my computer and watching it and then deleting it when I run out of space. So you're not archiving it then. So that's a valid reason to justify keeping something offline in like this physical state, but that's not the reason you're doing it. But they use it as a shield of like, yeah, I believe in archiving. Is that what you're doing? Are you maintaining a library of all of this content that you're taking, or are you just using that as a deflection because you just don't want to pay for it? Which is a fair justification. Just don't use it with me.
Anyway,
yes.
you get a little bonus.
Yes,
when you buy one of the t-shirts.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
My God.
It's more just because that happens all the time of like, oh, I really like this artwork. Can you send me a really high quality PNG of it? And it's like, why do you want that? And the answer is, I want to print it off and use it for my own purposes without giving you any money. It's like, fair enough.
buy the t-shirt, you get it'll be like a little business card with your QR code on the back, and it'll be like a link to the artwork.
But no, that's just one of those things where, and I think every single time it comes up, and I don't think I can be clearer than, I understand why people pirate stuff, use adblock. Just don't talk to me about it, because my income, the income of 3 of my closest friends, is directly reliant on people not making that choice. So it's not an argument I wish to entertain, especially within, the areas which I have, my branding on, like my YouTube channel, my Discord, my Twitter account. It's like, I just don't want to entertain, and that's the thing, and I'm aware of every single argument and justification you're going to make. I've been online for 18 fucking years at this point. I know what they are, I just do not want to have it justified in front of me. And then people go, but what about? It's like, shut up! It's like, I know!